The Indian stock market has had a rough year. Nifty 50 is down nearly 7.5%. Most mid-cap and small-cap stocks are bleeding. And yet, one stock quietly went from 1,350 to over 8,000 rupees in 12 months. That's a 495% return, while everything else fell apart. That stock is MTAR Technologies. And no, this isn't a pump and dump. This isn't a rumor. There's a very real, very large global trend driving this company's growth. And today we are going to break it all down. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what MTAR does, why Bloom Energy and Oracle are the real catalysts, what the AI data center boom has to do with the Hyderabad factory, and most importantly, is this stock still worth buying at these levels, or is it now a dangerous trap? MTAR Technologies is a Hyderabad-based precision engineering company. Founded over 40 years ago, they manufacture highly complex components for some of the most critical industries in the world. Think nuclear energy. They supply parts for India's nuclear power plants. Think space. MTAR manufactures components for ISRO's rocket programs. Think defense. They supply to DRDO and other defense organizations. These aren't commodity parts. These are precision machined, ultra-critical components that very few companies in the world can make. But here's where most people stop. They call it a defense stock, tick the box and move on. The real story, the story behind this 495% return is something entirely different. And it starts with a company most Indian investors had never heard of until last year. That company is Bloom Energy. Bloom Energy is an American clean energy company that makes solid oxide fuel cells. Now, before your eyes glaze over, let me explain this simply. A fuel cell is essentially a box that generates electricity directly from a chemical reaction. No combustion, no turbines, no dependency on the power grid. You feed it natural gas or hydrogen and it produces clean, reliable electricity 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Why does that matter? Because AI data centers need exactly this. They need massive, uninterrupted power. And the public electricity grid simply cannot keep up with the scale of what's being built right now. Bloom Energy's fuel cell is the solution. And the most critical component inside that fuel cell, the heart of the entire system, is what MTAR manufactures. They call it the hot box. MTAR is the sole supplier of this component for Bloom Energy. Think about that for a moment. Every single Bloom Energy fuel cell that powers an AI data center anywhere in the world has a part made in Hyderabad by MTAR. That's not a small thing. So the business model makes sense. But what specifically triggered this stock to go from 1,350 to 8,000? Let me walk you through the chain of events. September 2025, MTAR receives a 386 crore order from Bloom Energy. That was the first major signal. The stock moved. Then came the big one. Bloom Energy announced a partnership with Oracle, one of the world's largest cloud and AI infrastructure companies. Under this agreement, Oracle committed to procuring up to 2.8 gigawatts of Bloom's fuel cell systems for its AI and cloud data centers. 2.8 gigawatts. That is an enormous number. Then Bloom Energy reported its Q1 2026 results. Revenue was up 130% year over year. They raised their full year guidance. The market re-rated Bloom Energy dramatically upward. And because MTAR's fortunes are directly tied to Bloom's production volume, every time Bloom wins, MTAR wins. The order book grows, revenue guidance goes up, and the stock follows. April 2026 added another layer. MTAR secured a 35 crore order from a new international customer in the data center space. Customer diversification is beginning. Let me zoom out for a moment because this is bigger than just MTAR and Bloom. When most people think about AI investing, they think Nvidia, Microsoft, Google, OpenAI. They think software and chips, and those are valid. But there is a second order story that almost nobody talks about. Power. AI is extraordinarily power hungry. Training a large language model consumes as much electricity as hundreds of thousands of homes. Running inference every time you ask ChatGPT a question consumes power continuously. And the world is building AI data centers faster than the grid can support them. Global capital expenditure on AI infrastructure is projected to reach nearly $6 trillion between 2025 and 2030. A massive portion of that is going into solving the power problem. That's the market Bloom Energy is selling into. And that's the market MTAR is manufacturing for, quietly, from Hyderabad, as a backdoor AI infrastructure play. Now, I have to be honest with you, because showing you only the bull case would be irresponsible. MTAR's PE ratio is currently around 276 times earnings. HAL trades at around 29 times. Bharat Dynamics is around 77 times. MTAR is at 276 times. What that means is simple. The market has already priced in years of perfect execution. If Bloom Energy's orders slow down, if the Oracle deal ramps more slowly, if a macro recession hits data center spending, MTAR's earnings miss, and a 276 times PE stock corrects very sharply. There's also significant customer concentration risk, and MTAR still needs to execute on scaling from 12,000 to 20,000 to 30,000 hotboxes per year. And manufacturing scale-up is never simple. So where does that leave us? MTAR Technologies is a genuinely exceptional business. It manufactures a component that no one else in India can make. For a customer at the center of one of the most powerful global investment themes of this decade, AI infrastructure power. The Bloom Energy connection is real, the Oracle deal is real, the order book growth is real. This is not a story built on rumors. But at 8,000 plus per share and a PE of 276 times, you are paying a very steep price for that future. This is a high conviction, long-term bet. If execution stays on track, more room to run. If anything disappoints, expect a significant correction. Do your own research, understand the risk, and speak to a SEBI registered financial advisor before making any decision. If you found this breakdown useful, please like and subscribe. See you in the next one.